Hello everyone. Okay then, so I'm now going to explain how caucuses work. Now these caucuses have the exact same function of primaries. It's all about states choosing a number of delegates they're going to send for each candidate to the National Party convention in the summer of election year. Most states, as we said before, do primaries, whereby people go to a polling station, they vote for whoever it is they want, they then count the votes at the end of the day or in the evening or whenever, and then they get the percentages across that state, and most states they divvy up the delegates by the percentages. Some say they do winner takes all instead. However, there's a handful of states, it has actually gone down a bit this year, mainly in rural big states, Iowa being one of them, where they have these caucuses instead. So rather than going to a polling station, what people do is actually go to like a gym or a sports hall or usually a school hall to actually vote. But rather than putting a cross by a polling station, by a ballot paper, what you do, you go into that gym and then you basically get physically counted for whichever candidate you support. And so what will happen is you go, let's say for example Warwickshire was having a caucus for whatever reason, okay, there'd be lots of meetings across Warwickshire, so like Nuneaton would have one possibly in the college gym, there'd be another meeting in Bedworth, probably in the city or Tesco, there'd be two or three in Warwick and various schools, two or three in Leamington, you get the general picture. What you would do, so let's say you live in Nuneaton and you go to their caucus, you will rock up and in one corner of the college gym there will be a lot of screaming people saying, vote for X, come to our side. In another corner there'll be another bunch of screaming people saying, come to our side. Two of the other corners, probably some in the middle as well. And you would go to whichever side you wanted to vote for. Now, at a certain time, let's say 8 o'clock, for want of argument's sake, they would then count the number of people physically by each candidate, or where each candidate supporters are all stood. And then what they would then do is anyone who's below 15% of all those who turned up, they are what they call not viable. And basically those candidates are eliminated from the Nuneaton count. So all the people who were stood by one of the eliminated people can go to a different candidate if they wish. Also in this time, it's a bit of a free-for-all. If you went to one person's thing, they did get enough things to be viable, but actually you change your mind after this first round, you can always change as well. But it's physical counting, and several rounds take place until they get to like two or three kind of people who are viable, essentially. What they then do is that they announce the result for Nuneaton, so there were 15 people stood by this person, 2 by that person, 27 by that person, work out the percent. They ring up, like, it'll be Warwick, who's like head of Warwickshire, the HQ, if you like, of the Democrats or Republicans in Warwickshire, and say this is where the Nuneaton results. They then collate every other meeting they've had, and then they announce for the entire state what the votes were and the number of delegates were per candidate. So it's a bit of a long drawn out process. Turnout is normally much lower than it is for primaries because it takes a lot of commitment to be involved in this, and of course there's no secret vote either. You might be persuaded by your neighbours or whatever. Now, to help the explanation, I found on YouTube a little video. They did a practice run in some college school. I put lots of screaming Americans on this, so I do apologise in advance, but it does kind of go over some of the things which happen in a caucus. So I shall put that onto a video. It's about 3 or 4 minutes long for you to have a quick look at.
Presidential primary really kicks into high gear when Iowans caucus on Monday. The Hawkeye State will be the first to pick a favorite. A Monmouth University poll shows former Vice President Joe Biden is still leading the race, with 23% of likely caucus goers listing him as their #1 choice. Snapping at his heels, though, is Senator Bernie Sanders, whose campaign has surged in Iowa lately. Sanders, along with 3 other candidates, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, and Michael Bennet, have been confined to Washington recently for the president's impeachment trial, so they haven't been there campaigning. If you're watching all of this Iowa coverage wondering, what exactly is a caucus? You're probably not alone. Don't worry, our Natalie Brand has a refresher course on an Iowa tradition.
Cheerleading, competition, and some confusion.
We merge with them, they're not viable.
A glimpse inside what caucus night will look like.
It's happening in rooms like this. This will happen in 1,678 rooms all at the same time next Monday.
These Drake University students got a practice run holding a mock caucus to put their candidates and skills of persuasion to the test.
What is the strategy going into next week?
Well, we're going to out-organize, outlast, and out-hype all the other corners.
Organizing is the name of the game. Caucus goers gather in groups based on their top choice for president. But to be viable on caucus night, a candidate needs the support of at least 15% of people in the room.
Every caucus goer needs a card.
In this mock caucus, only Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg met that threshold in the first round, leaving other candidate supporters scrambling.
How stressful is this?
Very stressful.
You want to come? I need a little sticker on the way. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Okay, well, it's over. You gotta go this side. Let's do it. Let's drink it together. We got it.
This Iowa tradition dates back to the 70s, launching Democratic presidential candidates from Jimmy Carter to Barack Obama.
What the caucuses do is provide a glimpse into unexpected strengths and unexpected weaknesses. It's up to the rest of the country to decide what to do with that information.
Drake University professor Dennis Goldford says the key question candidates will have to answer:
did you do better than expected or worse than expected?
We ended with 66 in Buttigieg and 87 in Warren.
The other Democratic White House hopefuls came up empty-handed in this college exercise. Monday will be the real test for their campaigns. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Des Moines.
Okay, so that little video just kind of gives you an idea as to how these caucuses take place. As I said, not many states have them. Iowa is always the very first state in the whole primary and caucus season. They have it first. And my next video is going to really be about why should Iowa and New Hampshire have their primaries and caucuses first, and what impact does that have? You may have already thought about some potential problems with these caucuses. Now, the fact they take place over an entire evening, that excludes certain people from being able to go to it. So it tends to be the more politically kind of aware activist type who go, hence why often the winners of these things tend to be slightly more left-wing or right-wing than the general population are. Also, of course, the fact your neighbours can see how you vote and stuff, again, has certain kind of problems as well. You might, be persuaded to vote because, your neighbours vote in a certain way. Many Americans don't quite like it. They say it's tradition, it's all about, caucus is a Native American word meaning meeting. It's something we always do in our area. It's a bit quirky. And some say it's a nice form of democracy that you kind of, it's quite community-based. So, yeah, you can decide yourself what you think of it. But the purpose of it is exactly the same as it is for primaries. It's all about delegates who then go to a national convention to support a particular presidential nominee to be your party's choice for the White House in the election.